Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever had an extremely biased teacher, regardless of where you are in the political spectrum, either the right or the left, or just biased in general, even when it comes to US history, maybe even focusing only on one specific race, even though the US history encompasses all, and I'm not just talking about white history, right? So there's a lot of biases in all of our lives, and sometimes teachers take it out on their students and become activists rather than just teach the materials, and a lot of us can become extremely frustrated with that because we just want to learn the curriculum. Now, obviously in high school and in middle school there's not really much you can do about that when your teacher's just on like some crusade, but if you're a college student and you're paying for courses and you're paying to be taught a specific thing, that's when things get a little bit different. Today, we're going to be watching a video called Open Letter to My Liberal Teacher. And this is about a college student who paid for a literature class. And we're going to see what she has to say to her liberal teacher. And we're going to be reacting ourselves. Again, I haven't seen this video. I did read the comments, though, because we're going to have to read one of the comments because she further elaborates. All right. So just so you guys know, I'm not spoiling this one. Um, but I do want to say the original video is going to be linked in the description. My channel's a conversation. If you want to be a part of the conversation, all you got to do is comment. And if you want to stay up to date with the conversation, consider subscribing. With all that said, all that yapping out of the way, let's get into it.
Dear liberal teacher, you will now be pleased to learn that your aim to politically indoctrinate me during your British literature class backfired. It was thanks to your push to shove your progressivism down my throat that I learned in practice what Jung said: people don't have ideas, ideas have people.
And I want to quickly point out that like this is true for a lot of different issues. I don't know what specific issues she's going to be talking about, but as somebody who's like a Hispanic, or technically I'm an American, but I'm classified as Hispanic, right? I have specific issues that I was pushed away from. Like those issues, like the whole like siding with terrorists during conflicts is like, nah, I'm not. Like, I don't know why the Democrats are aligning themselves with extremists. That's weird. I'm not going to do that. I'm pro America. Hello. Or when it comes to the border issue, yeah, I want people to actually come here legally and participate in the potential that America has for everyone, but it has to be done legally, right? But then instead, everyone wants to open the floodgates. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather not be associated with that, right? So there's a lot of things, a lot of specific issues for the American mind that people don't understand, maybe internationally may not understand. There's a lot of issues that everyday Americans care about, but typically there's one or two that are like deciding factors for each of us because we're working regular jobs, we have busy lives, people have kids, people have you know what I mean? So it's usually it could be a wide range of things. So that's why I'm saying, like, just if she says something, I say something, just know that Americans as a whole may not all have the same issues, to like obviously the economy, but like some people are well off and they won't be affected, right? So again, just something to think about.
That this idea of feminism you advocated for, how'd you like a puppet, was more evident to me than your understanding of George Orwell, but I'll get to that in a bit. It was you who got me interested in politics. 20-year-old me had no idea until you hinted at it in one of your tangents that the view I held, namely that every human being has intrinsic value, was a far-right extremist position.
That's insane. First of all, that what she said is insane. But I am not surprised because I've seen this, right? So this is what's really really weird. So she's saying every human being has intrinsic value. I could already well, I don't want to assume. We'll watch the rest of the video. I can guess what she's probably going to be talking about. She's probably talking about abortion. Now, then again, she could be talking about other things. We're going to watch the video. But what's ironic about this is, ow, my son just tried to jump on my lap. I'm wearing shorts. Little boy, chunky boy. My chungus. Come here. Oh, now you want to run away? Whatever, fat boy. I love you though. You chunky like me, little boy. He's chunky like me. What was I saying? Oh, So the irony of the liberal idea that Democrats used to hold, ironically used to hold. I'm not talking about liberals. I'm talking about Democrats used to hold. Was all life has intrinsic value. That's why even like President Obama was very similar to what Republicans are today. Um, in that all life. So then we shouldn't be aborting babies unless these specific cases like incest, raped, life of the mother. Like typically that's like everybody unanimously agree, yeah, like we need to save the life of the mother. If it's an incest baby, yeah, we definitely not doing that. If it's a rape, obviously we're not going to do that. Like that's crazy. But what's ironic is they're cool with killing babies, but when it comes to like, oh, like we got to be saving people all the way on the across the world because every life matters. It's like, yeah, every life matters then, so let's save the babies. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And especially when you consider that there's a huge population crisis around the world because people stop having kids because of so many insecurities when it comes to resources, governments no longer favoring their people, kind of favoring people who expect less, which is typically immigrants. Um, it's just there's so many things that just don't really add up, and there's a lot of hypocrisy with that. So like I know I'm going on a separate tangent, but yes, if a Democrat ever tells you we should be saving lives, like, oh, save these people in this other part of the world, but then you say, yeah, we should be saving lives. Let's be, pro-life. Then suddenly everything changes. Sorry, he wants to be on camera, my baby. See, look at him. That's why I hold him like a baby because he's my son. Right, my boy? All right, let's get on with the video.
It was through you calling people like me extremist, that I had my first-hand experience of how an ideology can warp people's thoughts to the point of denying reality for its sake. Talk about
And this is so much more common than everybody thinks. When you're trying to, for a long time, I felt like the last 4 to 6 years, you couldn't even have a conversation because if you had the wrong idea, like, let's say I'm not very, how do I say, I'm not the smartest person. I'm kind of your more average person, right? Your average American, right? But if I'm asking a genuine question because I really want to know and I don't know, you're more likely to get judged and called names, called racist. People are gonna brigade to get you to lose your job. Like, it's insane. Like, you just have to suddenly know everything, and if not, you don't. But in the irony is the people that claim that don't know anything at all. Right, little boy? Ah, he's getting hyper. He's being chungus right now. Sit down.
extremism. In fact, I vividly remember you proudly stating you could not engage in a civil discussion about abortion because you'd call the opposition stupid. Then I stumbled across these comments on the internet. Isn't it cute?
Okay, let's read this. The characteristics of the radical left: unable to engage rational dialogue, unable to remain respectful towards the opposition, unable to deal emotionally with different opinions. Yes, that is extremely huge. All of this is true, but one I think the big deciding factor is like people on the left typically deal with their emotions before they deal with reality, right? So like, say for example, there's opinions I might not like emotionally, but I don't like, if they're true, then like that's, it is what it is. So for example, I don't like paying taxes. Fuck taxes. Emotionally, it makes me mad. But at the same time, like, I don't mind paying more taxes because the reality is we need them to function as a country. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I might not like it personally. It makes me mad, but I know I need to do it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes, but with the left, you can't, it can't be both. Both can't exist, right? Your emotions are your reality when you're on the left. The second one says we live in times we must engage in elaborate philosophical discussions to prove people should not be killed. It's ironic how pro-choice argues for the rig of bodily autonomy, just not for those inside the womb. Exactly. And also, like, again, it goes back to the, well, we need to save people across the world for that we never knew, we don't know, and could honestly hate our guts like they do now. Um, but yet when we want to protect American babies, we can't do that because oh god, American babies.
How a few years later, random quotes on the internet make me think of you. I
Yeah, it's kind
just
of
wonder
funny.
how many frustrating years it took you to the point you felt it necessary to let off your steam as students who are paying for your class, literature class, may I add, and can't help and sit there, wait for you to get back.
That's kind of crazy. Of all classes, it's a literature class. Like the respectfully, the teacher, the bitch needs to go. The teacher needs to be doing their job. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I just don't understand how I'm expected to pay all this money for a class, and then the teacher's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Today, I'm gonna be on my soapbox, and it's gonna be a grade. And then if you don't agree with it, you're evil, and I'll fail you. So you have to pay me again to take this class.
Back from your tangent, thinking, what does Jane Austen have to do with legalizing prostitution? Or why is she fantasizing about her favorite poets aligning with her political views if they were alive today? You're not concerned about empowering women. Which scenario would make me stronger? Taking advantage of the faulty law that allows me to abruptly stop my child's development because of the inconvenience or threat he will pose to my degree or career pursuit, or actually fulfilling my reproductive obligation while being able to tackle pursuing a degree or career?
And I think so for those who don't understand what she's being very like very poetic about the way she's saying things. I'm just gonna say that, okay? But what she's really saying is, or at least the way I'm taking this is, I know I was about to mansplain, but what she's posing the question, what she's challenging us, the audience, or really these teachers, is so you're saying because I'm a woman, I can't have a baby and pursue a successful career, so I must abort the baby because you don't think I could? Like that's really what a lot of these pro-choice arguments are. Now, I never said I was pro-choice or pro-life, right? Before you get in the comments, I never said what I am. I'm simply talking about the hypocrisy of the left, okay? But the reality is, how is it that the left, Democrats, can say, "Hey, you're a woman. You could never have a baby and a successful career. How you our expectations are so low. You should just abort the baby. You know what? You're gonna abort the baby. Abort the baby." Like, no. Some women want to have the joy that men can't have, which is childbirth. Now, obviously, physically, it's straining. We get that. But a lot of women take pride in that. That's what makes women special, is holding the value of creating life. Like, yes, we have labs and shit, but that's not the real thing. There's the feminist movement is about empowering women. And part of being a woman is having something that men don't have. And is a womb and the ability to create life. To bring a whole new generation into this world, to carry society I got chills, to carry society forward for for the future, to ensure humanity has a future. Women have that gift to do. And if women should be allowed to do it and not be punished for it. If you Do you see what I'm saying? Like if a woman says, "I want to celebrate life and the gift that I have to have kids, and I want to have kids," she should not be in any way punished. She should not be judged. She should not be held back, and she should not be looked down on and be like, "Oh, you're a woman. You can't have a kid and have a successful career." No. No, that's messed up. That's really messed up. Imagine the century or the progress women has made just to get to this point to where women are being looked down on. Like it's so backwards that the feminist movement is actually anti-woman now, because it's unironically the figures that are leading the feminist movement now are men who transition into women, right? So it's literally men have hijacked the feminist movement and now want to punish women for celebrating the one gift that they have that no one else has, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me how we have, as humans, we have something so special, and that is the ability to create life. And for a woman to really take pride in that and then be punished for it just is insane to me. It's insane. And that's why people get pushed away from the left.
Maybe you should empower women by telling them that they're capable instead of eluding the responsibility by demanding child sacrifice on the altar of your definition of empowerment. Anyway, back to English.
That's crazy that she said child sacrifice, because like low key, you know, it's one of those things where like I said, I don't want like nothing against trans people. I have trans friends, but even trans people agree that the feminist movement is not really about equality. It's about punishing women because the men that hijacked it are that. Like, you know, they're trying to do that because they're jealous of women. That's just my personal opinion and kind of what some of them said. But we're here nor there.
Right. You recommended students read an essay by George Orwell, Politics in the English Language. It was not
I hate this. 1946.
optional reading, and I read it with your puny yet adamant pro-abortion comments in the forefront of my mind. I was simply stunned. You couldn't see the flaws of your views against the arguments stated in that very essay you provided. Should we read some of the parts you overlooked?
In our time, political speech and writing are largely the defense of the indefensible, but only by arguments which are too brutal for most people to face, and which do not square with the professed aims of political parties. Thus political language has to consist largely of euphemism, question-begging and sheer cloudy vagueness. Such phraseology is needed if one wants to name things without calling up mental pictures of them. The great enemy of clear language is insincerity. When the general atmosphere is bad, language must suffer. But if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. A bad usage can spread by tradition and imitation, even among people who should and do know better. Every such phrase anesthetizes a portion of one's brain. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind.
Now that we
That's it's you know what's funny? I actually kind of already know what the professor did. They probably went home, Googled pro-choice pro-choice literature. Didn't actually like read it like many of them do. Dude, he just took a nasty shit. I can smell that. Bro. That's why you acting crazy right now, because you had to take a... Oh my god, sorry. I usually let the cat roam around, but he's been like sitting at the door. I don't know if you can see it because the camera, but he usually sitting at the door, and sometimes you can see his paw come underneath. And so I said, you know what, I'll let him be in the room with me whenever I do my videos. And so I put his litter box up here and stuff like that. But dude's a menace. At least as somebody who's normal and more center and just has an actual life outside of politics. One of the things that you find with political arguments from the left is like everything has like a sneaky connotation to it. It's very worded in a particular way. You can never just have a straightforward conversation of like, hey, should babies be prioritized in our country? No, even with the population pandemic that's going to be coming, like, oh, you mean men that transition to women are suddenly women and should lead the feminist movement? You think that's a great idea? When women are a separate class, like a separate group of people than trans women, but then you say trans women are women, but they can't have babies. Like, why would you want someone who can't have babies make decisions on babies? On like, you know, general women's problems. It's so many things. Like, you can't just have normal conversations and direct conversations. Anyway, let's go on. But shout outs to the baby's forehead on the video.
Brought the semantics to your attention. I like to be the one who breaks it to you. You're not for bodily autonomy. Preventing the poisoning of a human baby in development, preventing the dismemberment of its body while it is alive, piece by piece, is the first step in protecting basic human rights and protecting bodily autonomy. Your rights, liberal teacher, start in the womb of your mother. Doesn't matter how fervently your ideology grips you and compels you to deny even your own humanity while in there. But if your progressivism doesn't allow you to believe in the inviolability of life,
the thing is, she just like this video probably wouldn't have existed if the teacher just did their job. Right? I think that's where we need to take a step back and understand that this whole concept, this whole idea in this educational system that we have in America, this teacher activism would not exist if teachers did their job, and we wouldn't have the issues that we have today if teachers actually did their job, which is low IQ scores. Teachers aren't actually teaching things, or they're teaching very biased materials. And unfortunately, I've seen this firsthand. It's actually kind of like, excuse my language, but retarded how some of these teachers function. Just like bend materials to make it seem like, oh yeah, actually, George Washington was actually African American. Like, it's crazy. Like Cleopatra was black. Like, nah, yeah, we got to slow down, guys. You know what I mean? Like the mental exercises that are put into explaining their ideas could have easily just be put into doing their jobs instead. And then someone like this who wants to just say, hey, my beliefs are different than yours. You don't have to try to convince me, but just give me something to look at, or give me a point to reflect on, right? She's not asking the teacher to change her views. She's not asking the teacher to change her views, right? She's just saying, if you did your job and then later on gave me something to look at that might reflect your views, then maybe that'll be more convincing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, but instead it has to be this, it has to be this way, it has to be this way, it has to be this way. If no way, this way. That's it. And he's watch out. He saw me. Look at him.
Doesn't matter what I tell you to free you from your slavery of thought. You and others like you are enjoying a sense of moral superiority.
It is usually futile to try to talk fact and analysis to people who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority and their ignorance. This is entirely true. I think this is kind of like the biggest red flag that the left has, and they can't see it, is they keep acting like they're the moral police, and that, like, regardless of the argument, right? Like, regardless of what the issue is, they simply think they're better, when ironically they're not. Like, I quickly realized this earlier last year. I was like, damn, all these people saying like we're the best, we're morally superior, we're blah blah blah. Wait, you telling me half these people don't have jobs? You're telling me the people who don't have jobs and haven't worked and live with their parents still, the most liberal that I know, are the ones telling me how I should pay my own tax, how I should do what should I do with my money? What? So that they can mooch off government benefits? No. When I know they're perfectly capable, which, by the way, I live in Seattle, a very liberal city. All right. So that's what I'm saying. It's usually the jobless who are telling people with jobs what to do. Makes no sense to me. It should be the other way around, if anything. Or maybe not at all. None at all. Just let the government do their job. Right? It's just the whole thing is, it's just crazy. Or like these protesters that be protesting every day. Yeah, they're jobless. Jobless behavior, okay? Or someone with like, well, I'm morally superior than you, then you should, be aborting your babies because they themselves have like mommy issues or daddy issues. Like, come on. Like, it's insane.
In your ignorance. Your abhorrence, your scorn against anything resembling conservative values has brought about your faulty reasoning, has clearly clouded over your thinking. Your banner against the chains of the patriarchy is to wave your pink hair in the classroom and hail the sexual revolution for your liberation. All the while it has imprisoned women in chains of irresponsible pleasure, promiscuity, and volatile relationships.
Yeah, and again, this is what I need people to understand is the whole idea of the feminist movement right now is trans issues. That's ironic that it does not make any sense. Men aren't women. No matter, like, men cannot understand the plight of women, period. That's it. Like, if I transition to a woman, I will never understand what it meant to grow up as a woman. Do you understand? So why should someone like me dictate what the feminist movement is and what women should be doing? That's insane to me. That, like, how does nobody with common sense, like, these people don't have common sense, they can't see it. If anything, it should be women leading these movements. It should be women talking about conversations on how what's ways we can protect women. What ways can we empower women rather than be like, oh, you're a woman, you can't have a career and a baby at the same time, you should abort it. You should be practicing more abortion. Or oh, women need safe spaces. Like, for example, being able to feel safe in the restroom knowing that a man ain't gonna come in there and do some crazy shit. Like, that's insane to me. It's insane. Because I know if I had kids, I would want to make sure my kids are safe and in school. In school. In the same way women should feel safe wherever they go, in the same way men should feel safe wherever they go.
Such was the price of your feminism, the objectification of women, the overwhelming divorce rate, political resentment that spills over your...
Yeah, I mean, the divorce rate kind of tells you that. And even this is what's ironic. Again, so if we, not to point out very obvious facts, because I don't want to linger on them too long, but like, let's look at the divorce rates amongst like LGBTQ, domestic violence amongst the LGBTQ relationships, extremely high. Almost implies that maybe other things are wrong, but those can't be the issues, right? They can't be. It's just, yeah. There's a lot of people can have a lot of issues, but the left always seems to take it out on everybody else rather than actually address them. Moral of the story.
Literature class, and the advocacy for the murder of human beings in their mother's wombs. I sincerely hope one day you realize your thought corruption as George Orwell did his readers. As for me, I'm free from your ideology, and this...
So, thank goodness she is free, and thank goodness she made this video, because I think this is really important. As somebody who hasn't been in college for a long time, I felt this when this kind of started when I was in college, which is like about 6 to 7 years ago. God, I feel old saying that. I feel weird now. Ugh. But the idea is also like to see that it's even more prevalent now kind of discourages me a lot. But also, like, I think people need to realize before I end this video, not once did I say I was pro-life or pro-choice. But I still have this conversation. And so I'm going to end this video without ever telling you guys in this video what I am. But what I do want is conversations. And I'm tired of this brigading and this self-righteousness from people who have no reason to be acting like that. If anything, they should be the ones listening. And thank you to this person. Their channel name is L. I link in the description below. Y'all should go support her. Anyway, I'll check you out on the next one. Bye-bye.